Shalom, salama, greetings, grand rising, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are in the world, this is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect in Tanzania. Diaspora Connect in Tanzania. Um, my name is Wanda. I'm a native to New Jersey in America, born and raised. Left America back in July of 2020, moved to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I've traveled around the continent to a couple of countries, a handful, but have many more to visit. So I decided to do a video today, and so much is going on again. So much is going on around the world, and yeah, I just wanted to come to you and kind of encourage you. And there's so much to talk about. One of the major topics in the Black American, African American circle is the Burkina Faso situation where citizenship was declined, apparently. I don't know all the ins and outs, but citizenship was declined for some African Americans who were a part of a group, ADDI, Arikana, uh, Dr. Arikana's group or whatever. And so people are not happy because they've spent money, they've invested money, bought tickets, all that. So yeah, that is very disturbing and concerning where people make promises to you and then they don't follow through. Not necessarily that I'm blaming anybody for that matter, because miscommunication can happen in everything. I don't know all the details about the ADDI group situation. I don't know all the details about the country, the government agreement with Burkina Faso. But one thing I do know is the fact that um, you can still visit, you can still get residency. That's in any country that offers it. Tanzania does not offer it, but any other country offers residency permits. It's okay to get a residency permit. It's not the end of the world because you can't get citizenship. It is not okay for people to mislead you in terms of the ADDI. I assume they had some kind of group and they made promises to African Americans that they would get citizenship. I've learned from experience of dealing with situations like this when I was in a group for Zambia. Some of the people there uh, said that they had some kind of organization that would help us get um, uh, business permits and residencies and all that stuff so we can acquire land and we could, kind of fast track to do all this, right? So this whole situation with Burkina Faso and the ADDI, I kind of experienced it in the Zambia project. They kind of lured a lot of the African Americans in under a spiritual program that kind of pulled on our heartstrings. We were feeling like we were called back home spiritually, which a lot of us were called back to the continent, but they used that as a mechanism to draw us in. So a lot of us were paying money and investing in like a mining company in Zambia. I'm talking about this now because of the situation that's going on with the ADDI, with the African Americans in Burkina Faso, promises that were made. Same thing happened with me and a group of other people in Zambia. The same situation. I don't think I ever really talked about it in detail, but I just left the group and kind of was frustrated and fell out with all the people in the organization in Zambia who made promises to us that they did not keep. I learned from that situation to be careful with organizations that are not directly the government. So when you don't go directly to the government or to the website, anything that is offered to us as African Americans, or anyone for that matter, it should be on the governmental website. If it's not on the governmental website, kind of take it with a grain of salt. If people are saying things that's not on the governmental website, take it with a grain of salt. And make sure you do your research before you invest a whole lot of money in organizations and programs and groups that say they're not directly the actual government. So it's like a middleman. And so it's not the best thing. I had to learn that the hard way. I lost some money as well, and a lot of other people lost money as well because we were made promises in Zambia that we would, like I said, get all these things, and we paid money. We joined this group, and this organization was supposed to represent us in Zambia to help us as a group, a collective. And it was a lot of Zambians that were working that. We were kind of like the outsiders looking in, and they were over this whole uh, company or NGO to help us. Well, it ended up being a lie. It ended up not being true. We lost a lot of money. I fell out with a lot of people over that because I was under them. I trusted them, and so I was kind of their representative and pulling people in and drawing people to the organization through my platform. So I learned a large, hard lesson in that. Um, is be careful who you trust, even with groups and organizations that are supposed to help us get citizenship, business residence, business permits, and residencies. They never helped us get any of that. They said that the government, we even met with some government officials, that's the part that was very disheartening. But when we met with government officials, and we met with chiefs there and everything. We were led to believe that we would be helped to do these things, but it never came into fruition. So I learned through that situation in Zambia that, yeah, you got to do things on your own to make sure that things are done correctly, decently, and in order, in the right way, because there is really no programs right now out that can help us to fast track us for any kind of residency, citizenship. You have to do that individually. From what I'm seeing, even whether it's residency permits, businesses, citizenship, anything like that on the continent, you have to do that individually. You cannot trust some kind of organization to do that for you. You need to have boots on the ground because you don't know how their organization is set up. You don't know if they're just telling you half truths. You don't know if legally they have everything in order that to be able to help us. Just because a person has a company does not mean that they can help other people get residency permits in that country. You know, you have to be a certain kind of business company, register it a certain kind of way. So it's a lot of nuances when it comes to trying to help people get residency. So for me, after that experience with the Zambia situation, and it's reminding me of the same situation that's going on with Burkina Faso with the ADDI, I had to learn the hard way not to depend on some kind of organization, do it yourself. So that's why I encourage people to boots on the ground, to be in that country, to create something for yourself. Don't depend on organizations and other groups to set something up for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to be the one to come to that country, to find out how the policy works, get a lawyer, find out how to set things up. You have to do it yourself. You cannot put your money in the hands of other people and expect them to do certain things that you can do. You need to get a ticket. You need to come to that country. You need to visit, first of all, to see if that country is a place that you could live, that you could survive. America is a lot different from a lot of the countries on the continent of Africa. The closest would be if you could move to South Africa, maybe, or to Kenya, Nairobi. Those are some places that you can adjust to a little bit easier. Even to me, I feel like Dar is, you can adjust it. It's still not as developed, but it's a little bit easier than just going to a place like Burkina Faso or going to places outside of a city. Even Lusaka, Zambia is a good city to start off in because it's very developed. So I had to learn the hard way with that. Depending on some kind of uh, companies that are helping us as a group to do things is something that we do need, but it's not in existence yet, and we don't have those connections in those specific countries like that. So you have to set things up individually based on what you want to do individually. And as you come to different countries, you set things up, then you have a community. They're doing it in South Africa. They're doing it in Kenya. We're doing it here in Tanzania, in Ghana. There are different people who are setting up different things, businesses. And then you come together one day and have a diaspora meetup or a dinner or something. And then you can network with each other. You can connect and share ideas. I'm selling this, I'm doing this, I'm working on this. So that's a community. You don't have to have one organization that represents you, because 9 times out of 10 they don't have the connections that they say they do. I've experienced that with the Zambia situation that I was involved in. I was all in it, recruiting people for it, and it ended up not being true. And I ended up calling them out on it in that group, and I ended up falling out with them and a lot of other people, because I was, so-called one of the diaspora leaders, but I started noticing that they weren't doing what they said they're going to do. People were over there, got tickets and everything, and they were waiting to get this business permit and waiting to get this residence. Let's start off with a business permit. They didn't even get that. They didn't get that. We invested in their mining company. Like, we lost a lot of money and time, and it was discouraging because people had their hearts set. They had this land set aside for us, but what's the use of you acquiring land when you can't even stay in the country? Unless you want to do that. Some people want to have land and travel back and forth, but even in this situation, the land was in that company's name. It wasn't in our name. So do things for yourself. If that's the case, we would have known this. We would have planned differently. We could have went to Zambia, created a company of our own, like you have to do in Tanzania, and then acquired land to do business. Same thing that you have to do here. So if we know that, then we know what to expect. But when somebody tells you something and you put all your eggs in one basket and you trust what they say, you sell everything, you donate and give a lot of money, and then you don't get anything out of the deal, but they got your money, and nobody's saying anything. Nobody's giving you even with us, nobody was held accountable, because nobody came and admitted that they took our money and didn't give us what we were supposed to get. Even till this day, we never got sorry. We never got, somebody being held accountable for that whole situation. And so and it's crazy, because even though I was trying to bring awareness to what they were doing, so many of the people, the diaspora, turned against me because they was thinking that I was speaking against the organization, who at the end of the day never came through for us, because they kept showing land. They did have land, but the land belonged to them. It didn't belong to us. They was constantly asking us for money, and we gave and we gave, and we still didn't get anything out the deal. So that was a lesson learned for me, a hard lesson. So when I see this situation, I'm like, a lot of organizations are popping up, especially on the continent, where they're trying to benefit from our hurt, from our wanting to leave, from our wanting to escape from America, Babylon, the house of bondage, and they are popping up, calling themselves helping us. But I learned that there are some years ago, that you got to do it for yourself, family. You got to come here yourself, find a country that you travel, visit that country, see what you can do based on what your ideas are, what your resources are, and do it for yourself. Because if things fall through, at least you can't blame anybody but yourself. Oh, I made a wrong decision. But when you depend on other people and it falls through, it hurts, because you just depended on them so much. You got to do it for yourself. And I had to learn that the hard way. So, I had to learn that the hard way. But you live and you learn. I learned a lot, and I've learned that I depend on myself. I'm not dependent on anybody to do anything for me. I depend on my own company to do things for myself. If I want to acquire land, I'm going to do it under my business. I'm going to do it the way the country requires. I'm not going to expect nobody to do things for me like that, because I've been through that. So I do feel for the people who are in the situation, the Burkina Faso situation, the ADDI situation. I've been there. I experienced that being here as well. And I've lost money, fell out with people. That's why I always say I'm not a grouping person, because that experience plus some other experiences in groups have just burned me out dealing with groups. But I'm back to creating groups, but not that I'm going to be anybody's leader. I'm an admin. I'm a moderator. I connect people. I'm a connector. So I always been good, I have really good connections, and I know people, and they know me and stuff, and I know who has this and some resources you can get, or I ask around. So I am the connector, but I'm not leading anything. I do business by myself. I don't want to, even when I created my company, I wanted to make sure it's me. I want to make my own decisions. I don't want to be fighting with people to get things done. When you have groups like that, you end up having disagreements with people, and then you can't even move forward in your business with your company because you're not getting along with your directors. I don't have that problem. I got two locals. They got their own business. They got their own life. I got mine. Only people in my company is me and my son. And my son is in America. He came here, but he's in America. So I don't have, and he wouldn't go back and forth with me anyway. So, but yeah, it's sad, but it's a reality that I had to live through. And so I recovered, but it was difficult. Like, I've been through a lot since I've been here in Africa for 5 years. I've been through so many ups and downs, but I have endured and I have survived. And so I am here for those who are interested in visiting Tanzania, if they're interested in repatriating, if they're or relocating or resettling, I say. If they're interested in doing business, I've done it. I've experienced different things, ups and downs, and this and that. So, but yeah, you can email me at diasporaconnect0@gmail.com, diasporaconnect0@gmail.com, and I do relocation and business consultations for Tanzania. Yeah, yeah, I just wanted to come to you and do this video and share that. Yeah, things are just life is happening, family. Things are falling apart. People depending on the wrong people. People are getting scammed. People are losing money. It's everywhere. So uh, be wise in your decisions. Use wisdom in who you trust. It's wiser to move on your own in terms of trying to figure out where you want to be, especially if you're leaving America and leaving to live outside of the America. As a Black American or any other country you're from, if you want to live outside of the country you were born in, it's very important that you depend on yourself. You don't be in these groups where you're giving money away, because when things fall through, these people may not be there for you to carry you, to pick you up. You have to look out for you. So make sure you make these decisions in terms of moving, relocating, doing business. Make sure you trust, pray, and ask the Father to lead and guide you. That's what I've been doing. When things don't work out, when groups fall apart, when finances look shaky, I don't have nobody to depend on but our Creator, Abba, Baba, our Father, and that's who I call on, and that's who I trust, and that's why I've been here 5 years in Tanzania right now, is because I've been trusting Him, and He's been coming through for me, and He's been providing. I've also been faithful to seek His face, to live for Him. You have to include that. You can't just ask Him and then you living all willy-nilly unrighteous out here doing all kind of wickedness. Yeah, you can't expect to be blessed in that in that aspect. So, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. You're welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video, thumbs up. If you know anyone that's interested in leaving America, you can hit me up at Diaspora Connect. Gmail. I mean, share this video with them. That's what I meant to say. Share this video with them, and let them know that it's possible to live a beautiful life of peace, safety, and freedom outside of America. It's possible. I'm doing it. So, and I started at middle age. And if I could do it at middle age by myself, you could do it too. It's not easy. It's a challenge. It's a walk, literally a walk of faith, but you can do it. It's possible. So thank you so much for taking the time to view my channel and my content. And I guess I'll end the video now. So see you guys in the next video, live or short or community. Don't forget to check the community tab too. Sometimes I'll put little things on there to encourage you. But anyway, see you guys in the next video. Shalom, Kwaheri. See you in the next one.